Welcome. In this tutorial, I'll show you how to take a VStation HD multicam shoot and seamlessly transfer it to Adobe Premiere Pro to perform the finished editing. The VStation HD Studio system we're working on has Premiere Pro installed on the same system, which makes the multicam workflow very efficient. It's also very quick, since the video content files do not have to be exported to another system and can be used directly by Premiere Pro without any re-encoding and, of course, copying. In my system setup, I'm using two monitors, one with the VStation HD user interface on one side and the Premiere Pro running on the other, as you can see in the diagram. In fact, we're doing a multicam shoot of this tutorial using another VStation, System B, the capture system, which you see on the right here. And we're actually feeding each of the monitor outputs into one of the HDMI inputs of the VStation. We're also using a camera, which you can see, which is on me, but primarily for the bringing in audio for this narration. So that's pretty much why we're using this. It's a little bit easier, although we could use the bring it in through the back and do it as an auxiliary, but this gives us the ability to actually use the camera as well. So when we're done, this entire tutorial will have been edited with VStation and touched up with Premiere Pro. So let's get started now. If you take a look now at the VStation HD side, you can see on the record panel we have an active multicam project here, which is a musical performance. I can pull up any of the video tracks by clicking on the playlist button on the player side. And you can see here, these were the recordings that we made for this performance. You can see here the project name, what the venue was, the venue time was, and this was we had the rehearsal. We had a 4 p.m. show, an 8 p.m. show, and for each one of these there were 4 cameras recording from 4 different angles. And you can see here camera 1 through 4 for the rehearsal, camera 1 through 4 for the 4 and then an 8 p.m. show. So if I wanted to see any one of the recordings, just double click and then I can play that recording, or I can advance ahead as you would anything that you would normally do with VStation. I also had created during the live shoot I did some line cuts, and as well as after the fact we used the multi-view feature to create some rough cuts, and you can see all the ones we did here. In fact, we did one for each song after the fact. We just did a couple during the shoot, and I can play any of these here by bringing them up. Let's bring one up here and hit play. So we can create a rough cut on VStation, which is useful because we can do this all before going into Premiere. But more importantly is we've also created an edit decision list, and these edit decision lists will be converted into Premiere Pro sequences when we do the import, as you shortly see. So let's go ahead and see how we do this. First of all, we're going to go back to the project, and we just simply hit Export Project. And now, because the Premiere is on the same system, we don't need to send the content files and copy them out. So we just simply say we want just the shot list, the playlist, and any EDLs that we've created, as well as any of the logs that occurred. We then choose which output format. In this case, we want it to work with Premiere Pro, and then we select where we want the XML file to be created. So I'll just we've set up prior to this a place for this, and so we're putting on the D drive. We call it the export files, and we just simply say OK. And now to export, we just hit the export button. And it's done, and now we're through exporting. So now let's move over to Premiere Pro. So I'm going to bring that up on my other monitor. And what I'm going to do here, I'm going to create a new project. And we'll give it a name, of course. We could give it the name of obviously the concert we did. So we could say, in this case it was called the Neil Diamond Tribute Band. And one thing I want you to look at here is where we put the scratch discs. When you're creating these files, you want to be able to make sure there's enough space. And so we've set it up where all the scratch discs go onto the D drive, which is a removable, swappable drive in this case. And that way we keep all the scratch discs and everything together with the original footage. But more importantly, we won't run out of space, because some of the media cache files create some very large files, particularly when you're using these large files that for long concerts, such as a 2-hour and 4-hour. So you want to make sure you set ahead of time that especially the preview files and the media cache are all going on to a drive which we set up before. So I just simply said OK. And I guess I gave this the same name, so as I was practicing. So we'll just say we're going to say yes. Okay. And now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to bring in, by importing, and I'll import the XML file. And Adobe is going to ask me where the clips are. So I'm going to say locate. And I know that they're in the original location. So I'm going to go to my videos, and I'll expand this out here so you can see. We'll go to the performance, in this case the Neil Diamond. And it's looking for the 4 p.m. show reel. So I'll click on that. And looking for the first clip, which is clip 002. Click on that and imports them. And now you can see here in the bin, we've got each of the clips for each of the shows, the 4 p.m. show, 7 p.m. show, the way we had created it. The rehearsal, we have those. And then we also have the sequences that are here. So, for example, if we wanted to see the edits that we made, we just double click, and there's our sequence for the 4 p.m. show. Double again, and there's our sequence, so we can just simply play it.
Or my favorite team.
And of course we want to see any of the clips, the original clips, they're here. So then we could just double click and bring that in, play that. So we've got all our original footage. We have sequences that have been made from the rough cuts that we did in VStation, and then you can do anything you want. You can, if you wanted, for example, to change where the edit point is, we just choose the rolling edit tool and maybe pick a point here, and then you can see we can then change where the edit occurs, because we have our original footage, so we can fine-tune it here. And of course we can do other things. We can add the titles and do color enhancements and separate the audio out. So that gives you some idea how easy it is to import a project created by the VStation. And if you need to see more about how we made the cuts, there are other tutorials on our website that you can use and watch to help you with that. Thank you very much.